Import addresses is where you will import any kind of mailing list you've been provided into the photo booth operator. The most common source for these, obviously, are wedding shows. When you click on the import address, the first item that comes up is the name of the list. You can either enter a name here, which will create a new list, but you also have the option of adding to an existing list. So for instance, we have like a bridal show list that we'll just kind of keep on going and keep adding and adding. We're just going to do a test list here to kind of show you what's going on. We can then enter a description if we'd like, and then we have a chance to browse for a file. Now, this is extremely, extremely, extremely important. It cannot be stressed enough. You will see that we have indicated that of the file to upload, you can only upload Excel 1997 to 2003 format or CSV files. 99.9% of the issues that business owners have with importing addresses is they try to import Excel 2007 or Excel 2010 files. You cannot upload those files. Oftentimes, there's no way to really tell what format your Excel file is in, and the wedding shows may provide you with a 2007 or 2010 file. It doesn't mean that you can't use it. It simply means you must convert it, and conversion is incredibly simple. You load your file in Microsoft Excel, you click the File button, the Save As button, and then you change the format to Excel 1997 to 2003. When saving, you may get a warning from Excel saying that certain features won't be available. It does not matter in the least bit. You click OK or Proceed and save the file. That is the file that you will upload here. So you're not prevented from uploading Excel 2007 or 2010 files directly. You simply need to convert them, and it is an incredibly easy process. We're going to go ahead and get our Excel 1997 to 2003 file, and we're going to upload the file. The photo booth operator will parse the file and feed back to you the first several entries, including the column headings, in order to help you identify which is which. And that may need a little further explanation, so here we go. First, we generate column titles A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Then we indicate what Excel reports as the column header, and then a sample of the information. What we're looking to do here is to tell the photo booth operator in column A, B, C, the information is actually A, and then it is one of several things which you'll see here in a minute. The reason this must be done is each of your files, especially if you go to different wedding shows by different companies, will not be in the same format. Looking at this here, it's pretty easy for us to see that the first name is in column B and the last name is in column C. We could just as easily upload a file that column B is the groom's first name, or the address, or the wedding date. Since there's no way for the photo booth operator to know which is which, you just have to help it out. So, this is how you do that. We go to row A, and it says date, but there's no information there. Since we don't know the date format or have any date, what we can do is drop the column. Any column that we indicate is dropped will not be added to the photo booth operator. In fact, any row that does not fit these predefined lists cannot be added to the photo booth operator. So, if we were to have a column here that said groom's name, and we did not drop it, we just left it as is, then we would not have a successful upload. You can only use these list names and only these names. So we're going to leave row A dropped because we have no idea if that contains any data or not. Row B is clearly a first name, C is a last name, D is the address, E is the city, F is the state, G is the zip, H is a phone number, and I is an email address. Now, if we were to have a wedding date, we would need to tell the photo booth operator what format that date is in. Again, different companies are going to give you different formats. These are the different formats that are available to you. The most common one, obviously, is a month, day, year. But the year could be the last two numbers, or it could be the full 4 digits. Sometimes instead of a month number, like 12, you might have December. in which case you have the chance to put that in here, including if they use the short form, DEC for example, or the full name, as in December. Doesn't apply here, so we can just leave it on the MMDDYY. Photo booth operator then gives you a chance to sort of pre-filter your list with two options. One, it asks if you would like to include entries that do not have an email address. Obviously, these lists can be used for one of two things. Either A, as a bulk email marketing tool, in which case you're going to want to only include entries that have an email, or B, for some kind of mail marketing. So you're going to print out address labels, in which case then you would want as many entries as possible, whether they had an email or not. The second one is, do you want to include entries with wedding dates in the past or no wedding date? Obviously, a wedding date in the past is probably going to be pretty hard to do any kind of sale on. So oftentimes owners will eliminate those from their lists. Also, the no wedding date is extremely important. In this situation, we have no wedding date. So if we leave this as no, then it won't add any records because we've not told it to add records that have no wedding date. Let's see what that looks like. So we're going to verify our settings. The photo booth operator spits back the original raw data, some little information, you can read it, and then what it thinks the corresponding information is based on your input. So it says the first name is going to be these, the last name is this, the address is this, and those all match up just right. Then it's going to give you a breakdown of what it found when analyzing the file. So we told it that we did not want to add any entries without an email, so that eliminated 453 records. Checking for valid emails results in eliminating 11 records. It does do a check. Sometimes manually entry is incorrect. And we did not want to add entries with wedding dates, so that eliminated 1,076 records. And then it does a duplicate check. It does these in order. So we did not want to add entries without an email, so that eliminated 453 records. If one of those records was a duplicate of a record we already have, it wouldn't show up here. So these go in order. So this is why you'll see when we change things that it can change your output as well. So out of a possible 1,540 entries, 0 will be added. So let's go ahead and change our settings, as that's the only option available to us, because right now nothing is going to be added. So now let's include entries with a wedding date in the past or no wedding date. In this particular list, it's no wedding dates. Now we verify our settings, and the photo booth operator comes back with a little bit different report. Again, we did not want entries without an email, so that got rid of 453 records. We eliminated 11 records that were invalid. And then it did find 5 existing records. Once again, those go in order, so since we were including ones that didn't have a date, there were probably 5 in there that were considered duplicates. Now that we have some to be added, in fact 1,071, we can either change our settings again, or the settings are okay, we can go ahead and upload them. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And the photo booth operator returns us to the list screen and shows us the list we just added, the test list, with 1,071 members, 1,071 valid emails. Now let's go ahead and add the CSV to this existing list to see what that looks like. So now we're going to select our test list, and we're going to browse to the CSV file. And then we need to tell the photo booth operator if the separator is something besides a comma. It is extremely rare, but on some occasions people will include files that are separated by something besides a comma. So let's go ahead and upload this file. And as you can see, the photo booth operator gives us a very unsettling report. It says there's one column total, and then there's a whole bunch of information. And on each one of these records, if we look extremely close, we'll see that the information is separated by a semicolon, not a comma. So in this case, we actually have a list that is not comma separated, it's semicolon separated. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back and we're going to load that CSV file. and we're going to say that it is semicolon separated. The photo booth operator now gives us a drastically different report. It goes ahead and numbers the columns with their subsequent information. CSV files generally do not have headers, so that information is missing. And now we need to tell the photo booth operator of these columns what information is what. Column 1 just is a bunch of numbers. That's useless to us. We're going to drop it. Column 2 has no information whatsoever. Also useless. We drop that. Column 3 appears to be a first name. 4 a last name. 5 looks like an address. 6 a city. 7 a state. 8 a zip code. 9 a phone number. 10 an email. 11 some numbers. We're going to go ahead and drop that. We don't have a wedding date, so we're going to leave that off. We do not want to include entries that have an email. As we learned from the Excel, we do want to include entries with no wedding date, since if we don't, nothing will be uploaded. Let's go ahead and verify the settings. The photo booth operator now spits out the original raw data and what it thinks. First name, last name, address, those all seem to match. We did not want to add any records without an email, so that eliminated 297. There were 5 invalid emails. You wanted to add entries to the test list. We checked to make sure that we're not adding duplicate records. You don't want to send 2 marketing emails, or 3, or 4, or 8 to the same bride. Brides generally go to a number of bridal shows. And then we make sure that they're not existing clients as well, and that eliminated 8. So out of the 899 entries in this list, 550 will be added. So we're going to say OK to that. We see the photo booth operator now reports that our test list has 1,621 entries available for mass marketing through email or through printing out address labels.